25th. All right, so the market yesterday went down, went back up, but then Meta reported earnings, and after hours, the market is down. All right, Meta's down 15.34%. They did beat. However, they talked about more capex with AI, and people didn't like that. So you had two worlds. Tesla didn't beat earnings, but yet they were so beaten down that they moved up. Meta beat earnings, but people don't like the future outlook with the spending, right? And is that going to turn into a profit? So hence Meta's down 15.37%. It's a pretty hefty move down. All right, that's going to move the communications sector down. So that's what's going on. We still have elevated VIX, and we got Microsoft and Google reporting after the market closed today. So that should have some fireworks as well. So without further ado, welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use volume profile and market profile to find structure in the market, along with anchor VWAPs, along with gamma exposure levels, supply and demand, the most traded price of the year, the rolling month, the rolling week, and the previous day. All to find structure in the market, see who's in control, and I want to go with who's in control. Okay, that's my methodology. This is what I use as my foundation, right? I use a lot of other stuff when the market opens, okay, but this is basically my methodology. Okay, now hopefully you get something out of this if you stick with me, right? And if you have been with me, subscribe, so set an alert if you haven't done that so far. Do this every day at 10 a.m. Okay, and if you do like it, give me a thumbs up. That would help me out. And as well, you could always follow me on X at Gonzo719. Okay, let's get right into the futures watch list here. So our VIX is over 16. All right, that's a 1% expected move. A 16 VIX is a 1% expected move in the S&P 500. I like that volatility. Okay, crude getting some love. All right, had a draw yesterday in inventories of I think minus 6 million. I was expecting a surplus, but it did not. Okay, so crude's basically in a little bit of a range right now. So Russell's up 0.4, silver's up 0.23, Bitcoin's up 0.22, gold is pretty much flat but up 0.05. Okay, 10-year yield reports at 8.20 on TOS. 30-year bonds are being sold slightly but pretty much flat, so that should make the 10-year yield pretty much flat. Ether down 0.08, dollars down 0.2, the Dow is down 0.58. The Dow is down 0.58. Okay, ES down 0.72, and NASDAQ is down 1.12 in big part from Meta. Okay, and Google and Amazon and Microsoft. They're all down pretty big. Okay, maybe they're anticipating this AI. Who knows? Okay, but that's what's going on in the futures. We can move on to the Max 7 Plus, and the leader is Tesla. Not much of a leader, but it's up 0.54%. Apple had a nice little move yesterday. I think they're getting rid of their Vision Pro. So they're up 0.04%. That's not a lot. Okay, then you got the laggards. We'll start with the 1%ers. Okay, now you got Snow down 1.19%. You got Microsoft down 2.29%. Amazon's down 2.55%. Google is down 3.07%. Okay, Google and Microsoft report after the close today. Meta is down 15.35%. Huge move down. Okay, huge move down. We're at like 417 right now. We were closed at 493. Okay, so big monster pullback in Meta. All right, now moving on to top sector stocks. Okay, PepsiCo, I believe, got an upgrade or a target raise. That's why they're up 0.4%. 0.46%, Qualcomm's up 0.38, Costco up 0.15, Johnson & Johnson up 0.11, We go laggards. All right, we got Eli Lilly, Disney down 0.5, Salesforce down 0.72, and Cat had earnings, and they had finally had less demand for their stuff. That's been rocketing the last time they had earnings, so now they're down 4%. Okay, now let's go to my swing trade list and see what's going on in other stocks. Right now, leader. Think this is TransUnion. Let's see here. So I don't know. I don't think they reported yet, but they're up 12%. AstraZeneca up 5.32%. I think this is Alaska Airlines. They reported earnings. American Airlines, I'm sorry, American Airlines. I don't know why I said Alaska. Alaska Airlines up 5.24%. But I know other airlines have not had that luck. Union Pacific, okay, up 4.53. Donald Trump stock 2.69. Royal Caribbean up 2.46. Merck up 2.36. Arista Networks up 2.25. Carnival Cruise Lines up 2%. Honeywell up 1.9. Ford up 1.5. Okay, now laggards. IBM reported, and they're down 9.07%. Southwest Airlines, they are down 7.85%. ServiceNow down 4.13%. Trade Desk down 2.73. Monster got a downgrade, down 2.48. Riot down 2.36. AMC down. Mara down 2%. ARM down 1.89. Supermicrocomputers down 1.83. Okay, those are the losers there. All right, let's go back to the top sector stocks. Let's go back to the sectors. Okay, let's see what this market's doing. Here's our leaders in which are not market movers. All right, basic materials up 0.12, energy's up 0.11, healthcare is up 0.09. This is very marginal. It's not nothing to really talk about here. XLY down 0.11. That's because of Amazon. But Tesla's up, so it's down 0.11. XLK, the largest sector, 29% of the S&P 500. Ooh, crude just must be pushing up higher right now. What was I saying? Oh yeah. Technology is 29% of the S&P 500. So that's very powerful, and that's a market weighted, cap weighted index. So that's why you got to pay attention to XLK, which is down 0.52. Okay, that is semis. That is Microsoft. Okay. XLC down 4.13%. Why? Because of Meta and because of Google. So they're tanking a little bit right now, and they are down pretty substantially. You don't really see a sector down that much, but that's heavyweights in that sector, so that's down 4.13%. Okay, that's going to pull down the Nasdaq and the S&P, right? But communications isn't the largest sector in the S&P by far. I think it's like 8%, 6%, nothing compared to technology. Okay, that's the sectors. Okay. Now, as far as news, economic calendar, earnings, let's look at our economic calendar today. Give me 1 second here. We'll look at that. All right. Today we have GDP dropping at 8:30 a.m. I expect that to move the market a little bit. Let's look at the growth rate. Forecast 2.3, GDP price index 2.9. Let's see how that comes in. Initial jobless claims this morning, retail inventories, and wholesale inventories. Okay, now 10 a.m. you got pending home sales. So I wouldn't be crazy about being in a trade around 10 a.m. All right, let that shake out a little bit. If I'm in it before 10 a.m., maybe 9:45, maybe I hold it. If I'm up or down or whatever, up on the trade, regardless if it's just short or it's a long. Other than that, probably stay away. Okay, tomorrow we have PCE. All right, so that's that for today. Now, as far as upgrades and downgrades, we got upgrades in Five Below, Sherman-Williams, Tandem Diabetes, UPS. Okay, downgrades. Monster Energy. Coverage initiated on GM. It's an outperform at a price target of 55. Let's see. That's really all here. Let's just look at one more here just to make sure that we're all in here. Yeah, there's not much else to report there. Now, as far as news, talked about this already. I don't have to go over it in detail. Meta's down, right? We talked about it. Microsoft and Alphabet also retreated ahead of earnings as Meta's dour outlook dulled expectations, while social media companies Snap and Pinterest also fell sharply. IBM down. IBM on weak first quarter earnings. American Airlines rose 5.2 with the carrier forecast quarter profit largely above expectations. Ford stock rose. Chipotle stock rose. Caterpillar stock fell. Merck Royal Caribbean stock rose. This is all stuff I talked about. Harley Davidson and Comcast rose. Okay, that's what's going on. All right. Now, let's look at. Let me make sure here. Okay. What was I going to show you guys? All right, let's just look at the earnings really quickly. What do we have? This morning, like I said, Royal Caribbean reported, American Airlines. We already know. We talked about these. CAT, Southwest talked about it. Bristol Myers Squibb reported this morning. AstraZeneca. Okay. After the close today, the big boy: Microsoft, Google, Intel, Snap, Roku, Western Digital, T-Mobile. Big slew of earnings after the close today. Big slew of earnings. Okay. So Microsoft and Alphabet already down. Already down. Anticipating something, maybe, right? All right, enough of that. We're going to go right into futures. We're going to go right into daily charts. All right, so really important what I want to talk about here, because you really can't look at the SPY. The candle looks fine, but after hours is really important. That's why futures, it's important to look at futures. Okay, so let's look at the daily charts together, and we'll flip the futures. So that's not what I wanted to show you guys. Okay, here we go. Here's the SPY. Where did the SPY go? Top of that channel, right? Now, I talked about this candles here, these two daily candles here. That did act as resistance, right? You broke that. So as we opened here, right at this candle, pushed a little higher, and then we sold off, recovered, right? Right at this key level of last month's lows. Okay, last month's lows. So this looks all fine and dandy until Meta reported. So where are we at now? 502.30. We are 502.30 is here. So we are gapping down. Okay, gapping down underneath this key level, underneath the 90-MA daily. Okay, now let's switch over to the futures. Okay, and you can see in futures, here's last month's lows. That was resistance in futures yesterday. You see that? It came right up to here, poked its head above it, and fell off. And then, of course, with Meta, you push down here, and you closed here in futures. See? Yesterday's close in futures was here. So we're below the close of yesterday, and we're below the lows of yesterday. Right now, in the overnight session, pre-market. Okay, so you can see right now that we're gapping lower. Okay, after this move up, that is not bullish if you continue, right? If you continue. Can we go to this low? I don't know. Right? You got the 100-day moving average here. Okay, below the 90-MA daily, so got a flat 50-day moving average, and you got the 20-day moving average. And generally, moving average, you want to see them fan out, and you want to see the 9 here, then you want to see the 20. You want to see all of them declining if you know, but you have a rising 100-day and 200-day. So if you go back, where is that 200-day moving average? Anyway, this is a back adjusted contract. That's why you're not seeing that. Okay, now let's look at the Qs. All right, you see the same story. It looks like, wow, 3 days of bouncing, right? right up to this trend line, right? So you got buying right here, poof, poof, over the 100-day moving average, right? So interesting, right? So let's look where we're at now. 422, 422. Whew, you're all the way down here. Way, gapping way below, and you're underneath the 100-day moving average. You're below yesterday's lows, all the way down to the lower third, okay, of what is that? Tuesday session. Now, okay, let's look at futures, how that looks. All right, this is the current look of what it looks like. So look, we came up to this yesterday, popped our head above it. Then that's the 100-day moving average acting as resistance, 9 EMA daily, and now look, we're all the way down here. Now, if you're going to get some selling today, the expected move is 224 points. Let's just say that's around 17,400. That would be no, 200. So that's around here, around right here. So we could possibly test these lows. That's the expected move. Now, expected move could go up or down, right? Now let's look at the Qs so you can get the Qs expected move. Qs expecting $5.59 from the close. Now obviously from the close is a little weird because of the earnings, so that makes it a little weird. So we're at the expected move almost today, right now. Okay, so that's that. Now let's get over to our triple-headed monster with that 10-year yield. That 10-year yield, like I said, it's pretty much up again. So let's look at that together. All right, so we're up again. So we're up. 10-year yield is at up 0.17%, 0.17%. Okay, so we're just in this range, right? PCE probably is going to have something to do with this, okay, because we're just in this little range. You pop above 4.7 yield and start to move up. That will just be more weight on equities. Okay, more weight on equities. What else put weight on equities? A dollar. Now, dollar's pulling back a little bit today. All right, a little pullback. But you had this huge move up, right? And now let's see if you can bounce here. And like I said, keep talking about this 106.50 level. Okay, let's see. Let's see what happens here. Okay, you got a rising 20, a rising 50. These are almost fanned out very bullishly, right? You just need that 100-day to overtake the 200-day. And then they're all fanned out, okay? Now, the VIX. The VIX was going down right here and right here. So right here and then boom, we're starting to go over 16 again. Now again, just to say it, 16 VIX equals a 1% expected move in the S&P 500, which is very, very nice for trading. Okay, so the fear is still alive. All right, fear is still alive. Not your triple-headed monster right there. All right. Now we're going to go over to structure into the market profile. Okay, so boom, boom, boom. Here's our structure. Let's look at it together. Okay, here's our profile, right? So profile has a skew to the upside. Right? You got a little, let me make that a little thicker. So we got a little distribution here. Then here's value area. That's 70% of the trade. Don't have a lot of excess. See that? That was from yesterday and the day in the overnight session. That's the little bit of excess you have. But it is skewed to the upside. Okay? I'm not putting a lot of weight into that because this was the major level I talked about yesterday. Okay, now talk about my pre-market scenario that came to fruition. that came to fruition. So I talked about this week low. It was at the most traded price and the overnight low. And I said, here was the overnight most traded price. So we opened, we tested higher, and then I saw weakness in the market, in internals. The market was moving higher with the NASDAQ, but the internals were not very strong. Okay, so then in SPY, I shorted it, and it was a great trade because, look what happened. It went all the way down, and I said, if we can take out, there's not much here. Well, you got this. So I entered around here, went all the way down, right? Ooh, boy, that's GDP. So the market's pushing down. You can see it right into demand. Okay, but that's just talking about that trade yesterday. Okay, so look, price is here. Most trader price is here. So 5102 is the most trader price of the week. We are below that, so that is bearish. Okay, this level up here was very, very key resistance. Okay, now if you look at the market, if you look at a chart, and I can show you on an hourly chart, it looks like an inverse head and shoulders, which is bullish. If we revisit back here, okay. But I'm not a pattern guy so much. But you can't deny that pattern. It's a bullish pattern. But like obviously, what the market's doing right now. Obviously, they don't like the GDP numbers. Okay. So let's look at what we have. We have a large gap down. Okay. Now in futures, the close I have is at 415. So that's why the close is here. So now one thing to note, okay, is we are 100% net short basically. So everybody's short from here, right? So yesterday's highs, we closed here, short again. Okay. Now the one thing in the equity market, let's say you trade it, right? Your close was up here somewhere, and now you're waking up and you're underwater. So whoever went long in Meta yesterday at the close, let's say it's options because you can't really do anything, you're underwater big time. Okay, and you're pushing into this demand zone. So big gaps are hard to trade. All right, they're not easy, but we got to talk about the rules. Okay, here's yesterday's lows, here's yesterday's highs. Okay, here is the overnight high, overnight low. Now we're bouncing in this demand, right? So you got a lot of thin here, all right? Really thin here into demand. So you do have a weak high here because we closed here, and that's the overnight high. Okay, that's an important level. That level is around 50.88 in the futures. Okay, you're below this most traded price of the week. That is bearish. Okay, and you got longs still getting paid from here, 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 here. Okay, now these guys are finally getting under the water a little bit, so we just have to see. Now gap rules. Here's the gap fill, overnight high, overnight low. Okay, so the most bearish outcome is gap and go. You can go without me. I don't chase. Okay, now second, if we try to move back into range, do not fill the gap, you go. That is the second most bearish. Third most bearish is filling that gap, yesterday's lows, and rolling over. And then what if we go into range? Well, then sellers don't have much strength. That's good how you got to look at it. That's how you have to look at these markets. Okay? Now, we have a very balanced profile now with this extension lower. So if you look at this profile, it's pretty balanced. Now, like I said, you have long shorts from here getting paid. You're at the bottom of this session. and in demand. So we really have to see how this market opens up. Remember, Amazon, Google are all down pretty big. Okay, Microsoft. So I don't know. And there's earnings. It's weird. You have to really judge the market. It's really weird. So what am I going to look at today? So I mean, that could have changed. There's probably a supply zone now that just was made here. Okay, if we knock out, if we break out this session here, these will be 30-minute bars. So right here, there's demand, supply now, right here. At the most traded price of the overnight, right here, there's supply. See, now you're getting some excess. You're getting some buying involved, okay? All right, so let's look at this and how to play this, right? Okay, so let's look at our scenarios for, you have to go with the bearish first. Okay, large orders hitting the tape in my ear. All right, so we have our gap fill and we have our weak high. So this area right here is very key for you if you want to be short. So what could happen is we could open up, push down a little bit. Maybe we don't break this demand zone and we get some buying. If you get some buying, it's going to be shorts covering some positions. Okay, and then you come into this area and that could cause some problems. That's the gap fill. That's the close. So you can maybe roll over from here. If you take out this demand down here, it opens it up to you falling down to here. Okay, then you have this weak low here to deal with. That's around 5,007 right here. You could try to take this out. Okay, you can also, right, come up, fill the gap, and then like hit this supply, which also is the most traded price, which I'd also be interested. If you can't go above this level and you start to push down, you're also going to fall. Okay, now bull. Okay, you're in demand. You are shorts from here, 100% net short in the overnight. Okay, this could be a little bit of a bear trap. Now, how would I know that? I only know that is if the market opens up pretty strong, initially weak, followed by strength, higher low, higher low. You can make your way back. Now, if you cross the most traded price right here, that's a good sign, and you hold it. You fill the gap. You could possibly go way back into here. Okay, cross that overnight VPOC at 50.74 and hold. That is a good sign, and you're probably going to go back to the most traded price of the week. That's pretty much all I'd be interested in. Okay, you lose this demand, that's not good. Okay, let's look that. Oh, by the way, that was your ES scenarios there. Now we can look at the Nasdaq, and again, every day when I look at this, it's fresh to me, just as it is to you seeing it with me. So I do the scenarios in live. I don't look at them before. I don't study them. What I'm going to say, I just look at them. Okay, so here's the Nasdaq. Okay, Nasdaq just broke this demand zone. So broke a demand zone here. Let's look at the bars. See, it just broke that demand zone. So we get rid of that now. And we went into this demand zone. Okay. Now let's look at structure together. We've got a lot of distributions here. Now, I wanted to show you guys something, and I'll show you that. I promise you, I'll show you something in a second in the ES, because the most traded price of the month and the week are about to converge together, which just means ultimate balance. Okay, which makes sense before PCE. Okay, so here's the most traded price of the week. It's equal on the RTH and the extended hours. That's 175.95. Price is here. We're below that. We're gapping lower, right? We're gapping lower. Market tried to break that resistance yesterday and then failed. Okay. Here's yesterday's lows, yesterday's highs. Big orders hitting the tape. Okay, so we already know gap rules. I don't have to talk about that. So here's gap fill, here's the close. We're 100% net short as well. This is a very important area, around 175.43 in NASDAQ. Okay, that area is very important. Now, what are we doing? We're gapping into a demand zone. Okay, you're taking out. See that big move that happened the other day? We are below the low of that big move. That just ripped up, right? We're below that. Okay, very important to know that. Okay, very important to know that. Relatively the weakest index, the Qs, with Meta, Google, Amazon, Microsoft all weak. Okay, we have a very, very balanced profile. However, everyone is short. Okay, everyone is short, but you're below the most share price of the week. So structurally weak. Structurally weak. Okay, give me 1 second. Alrighty. So very similar, very similar. Now, what I can do here, let's see here. We're gonna have supply here because of this big move that just happened. Bars aligned. Here we go. Right here, you're gonna have a supply zone. Right here, which lines up kind of to the overnight lows. So that's the area I said to watch out for. Okay. Okay. Now, very similar scenario right now. They're very similar. Okay. So bottom line, if we're looking at the shorts here, we got big supply zones up here from yesterday. Okay. And then you got that most traded price of the week. Okay. So you got a couple areas here. You got this little zone, overnight highs and the close from yesterday's lows. Okay. That's number one. All right, now this, you're in a demand. You're 100% net short. So, like I said, you could get a push back up here into this area to the gap fill. That could cause weakness and you could roll over. Okay. The next part would be you move into this most traded price of the week and you go into the supply. You quickly can't find acceptance over it. That could also roll us over. Of course, you could do a gap and go. I think that might be likely, possibly with the Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Meta all down. Okay, I don't love it because trading wise, I don't like a gap and go. Okay, I don't like it. So that's the short side. Now the long side, you're in a demand zone, right? You're in a demand zone. So this could be a little bit of a bear trap. Now that would have to mean these stocks turn around. Okay, it could be a dip buy for Meta. Hey, people think that might be cheap. So you could push down. And let's say you test this demand, but then guess what? You do higher low, start moving back. This price is very key. 174,800. That's the most traded price of the order. If you take that out and you hold that, you're going to go back at least to here. At least to here. Okay, and then you wait tomorrow for PCE. That's what I would look at for the long. Very crucial area is here and here. You need to cross that most traded price because you're going to put all those sellers on their heels. Okay. Now again, that all matters how the market opens, how weak we are, how strong we are. Okay. Now what I promised you, that was the NQ scenarios. Okay. Very similar. All right. I don't really think I have one that I favor more. I just have to pay attention to what the market's showing me at the open. Who's strong, who's weak. Okay, now, what I was talking about here was structure in the ES. Now, I want to show you something here. 5100, 5106. You see this large volume node here? Okay, now look, this is the monthly profile of this month, right? The most traded price of this month is 52.54. Well, guess what? This is a large node here in this month. price is here. Now, if we were to move back up here, okay, even if this is not rolling, just to be quite clear, this will probably, the most traded price of the month will probably be here. And that's like a wall. If you stay below that, we could find ourselves moving down to here. But it's very, when the most traded price of the week and the month line up, okay, that's usually big moves happening, because why? Everyone's agreeing at this price, and then someone's going to get hurt because the most trades have contracted. Now look at this. The most traded price of this year is here, but look at this node. It's going to take it over. And then you move below it. Look, big moves happen from those big bounces. See this right here? That was the most traded price of the year. Look what happened when we went away from it. Big move down. Big move. Okay? That's what I really wanted to show you guys. Okay? Just so you can understand that. Obviously, ask me a question if you don't get it. All right? So that's it for me. Hopefully you enjoyed the analysis. I do this every day at 10 a.m. Please subscribe. Set an alert if you can. Okay? It's all live, done when I'm talking to you. Okay? And I like to give you the news, updates, upgrades, downgrades, all what's going on, why the stock is moving down, why the stock's moving up. That's what you get with me. Okay? Hopefully you liked it. Give me a like. And you can always follow me on X at Gonzo719. Everybody stay green today. Stay patient. This is going to be a wild open. Be patient. Let the market tell you a story. All right? Let the market tell you